Bradford City continue their 2025-26 League One campaign with an away clash against Liam Manning's Huddersfield Town, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this game if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, then make sure to like, comment and subscribe. But my team Bradford City, we currently sit third in the League One table. After 25 matches, we've got 13 wins, 7 draws and 5 defeats, scoring 35 goals and also conceding at 27, which leaves us on a positive 8 goal difference and 46 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a loss, a win, a loss, a win and a win. Bradford City have actually lost more matches in their last 6 games than they did in the first 19 in the league so far this campaign. So recently we have started to see a few losses creep into us, but in terms of our last couple of results then, most recently we had a 2-1 defeat at home to Cardiff City. First half it was all them, second half it was all us, and we've said that a fair few times so far this campaign. The first goal, there's nothing really that we can do anything about. It's a great finish to be fair from Turnbull, but the second one comes from a short corner. Really poor defending from us. We get a goal back through Jensen Metcalf. Absolutely outstanding strike. Great to see Josh Nerfill get an assist as well. A couple of the new lads getting their debuts as well, but unfortunately we just didn't quite have enough, and Cardiff City are definitely going to go on and achieve promotion. We also had a fantastic 2-1 win away at Blackpool, one of the best performances we've seen in the league for a number of months, probably since the last time that we played Blackpool back at the end of September. Disappointing in the manner of their goal, but great to see Baldwin get his first for the club and Will Swan for his first in 4 months. We also had a very disappointing 3-0 defeat away at Mansfield Town. Just an awful performance on that day. Yes, we made loads of changes and there wasn't really many first string players who were playing in this side for Bradford City. I mean, you look at some of the players in this starting 11. I mean, some are still not even at the football club anymore, but really poor performance, and Mansfield definitely did deserve the win. We also had a 1-0 win at home to Port Vale. Case of job done, really. Very physical game, you know, certainly a battle rather than a pretty spectacle, but anytime that you pick up 3 points at home, you've always got to be happy. And we also had a 2-1 win at home to Wigan. They had a couple of red cards in that one. We came up with a 90th minute winner eventually through that one, but tough game as they always are at this level, and Wigan are a decent side, so this was a good 3 points for us. Compared though to Huddersfield Town, they currently sit 6th in the League One table. After 27 matches, they've got 11 wins, 6 draws and 10 defeats, scoring 46 goals, which is actually the most in the entire division, but they have also conceded at 38, which is the most in the top 13. That leaves them on a positive 8 goal difference and at 39 points. Their last couple of matches have been a loss, a draw and a win. That recent run of results saw Lee Grant get the sack following their most recent defeat, which was this game 3-1 away at Burton Albion, where Burton probably did deserve the win. In all honesty, they just kind of Burtoned them like what they've done for a lot of teams so far this campaign. They beat Cardiff, they beat Bradford, they beat Bolton, they've done it to a lot of teams. I think Burton have got Lincoln this weekend, so hopefully they can do it again. But obviously Lee Grant lost his job. Liam Manning's coming in, and obviously this will be his first game in charge, so it'll be a big test for him in the big West Yorkshire derby. Looking at the stats from the game, maybe Huddersfield did deserve a little bit more out of it, but if you're not good enough in both boxes, then you definitely will lose. They also had a 1-0 defeat away at Stockport County. I watched this game and it was a thoroughly deserved win for Stockport. Great as well that it took until the 96th minute to break more hearts of those Huddersfield fans in the away end, but Huddersfield just sat back for the majority of the game, especially in the second half, and the inevitable dip happened in the 96th. That is a minute that will always go down in history at Bradford City. They also had a 2-2 draw at home to Exeter City. Now Exeter are a pretty decent side, but Huddersfield, with the budget that they've got compared to Exeter, should certainly be beating them at home. It was a great finish from Wareham in the 89th minute to rescue a point for the visitors, and to be fair, it was a really good strike as well from Reece Cole, so that was certainly more points dropped. They also had a 1-1 draw away at Lincoln City. I think on the balance of play, this probably was a fair result. Obviously Leo Castledine has since been recalled by Chelsea and sold to Middlesbrough. Former Bantam Adam Reach scoring the equaliser in that game, but I actually don't think this is the worst point in the world, in all honesty. And they also had a 2-0 win at home to Northampton. Again, when you compare the budgets, the squad, the players, all that sort of stuff, Huddersfield should certainly be beating, with all due respect, teams like Northampton, especially at home. Obviously, the big palaver really that's gone over this transfer window regarding Huddersfield is Joe Taylor has been sent out on loan to Wigan on his day. Certainly probably their best striker, but clearly him and Lee Grant did not see eye to eye. And Huddersfield have obviously been on a really bad run of form. They played a lot of games more than a lot of the teams around them, so I'm looking forward forward to seeing how Huddersfield fare in this one, but hopefully it's very badly. Before we do go any further though with today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 180 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your score prediction for this match. What would your starting 11 be as well? Would you make any changes from Saturday's defeat against Cardiff City? In terms of my team then for this game, I would stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. We saw in the reverse fixture where Bobby POINTON potentially scored a hat-trick on that day, although more likely it is a brace. That formation worked incredibly well on that day. Obviously, I don't think we'll be able to play the same team that we did on that day in this one, because my understanding is that both Will Swan and Tyreek Wright have picked up injuries, and that was maybe a bit of a reason as to why they did come off at half-time. Obviously, Alexander's not going to come out in his pre-match press conference and say we've got injured players. He wants to make it as hard as possible for the Huddersfield management staff to try and guess and predict what team that we are going to play. But in goal, I would go with Sam Walker. Nothing that he can really do about either of the goals against Cardiff, in all honesty, and I thought he made a couple of pretty decent saves throughout the game. Certainly nothing that he can do about the first goal, and I think the second one as well, with the way that it flashes across him, not really much he can do about that. Obviously, he is our number one, so I would start him in between the sticks. In terms of my back three then, at right centre-back, I would bring in Matt Pennington. Obviously, we've not seen Pennington since around the middle of November, where he picked up that hamstring injury away at Bolton. Since then, I think he's been back in training for the last couple of weeks, but for me personally, Pennington is a very important player for Bradford City, and especially when you're going away from home, it's okay to be a little bit more defensive, so I would bring Pennington back into the side because I think he's been great whenever he has played. In the middle, I would go with Aidan Baldwin. Again, for the majority of the season so far, he has been absolutely incredible. No real complaints for me with his performance against Cardiff City. Nothing that he can do about either of the goals either, so I would certainly keep him in at the side, and we all know how important his ball playing ability certainly is. And at left centre back, I would go with Curtis Till. Comfortably the best player on the park for me against Cardiff City. I thought for the entire match he absolutely locked up the use of Salic. He didn't give him a single kick. There was one time where Salic got maybe a little bit of a look and got past Curtis Till. He took that experienced yellow card and that was it. Curtis Till was an absolute monster, absolute animal, and especially if Huddersfield are going to play potentially with Radulovic up front, then Curtis Till is the best man to deal with that. You know, you look at how much Cardiff spent on Salic, and Curtis Till comes in on a free transfer, 34, 35 years of age from a League Two side, absolutely locks him up. He is the perfect man for those type of battles and definitely has to keep his place in this side. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I would go with Josh Nerfville. I think we've seen over the last couple of games since Nerfville's come back into the side, he seems to be building back into the way of things, where I don't think Nerfville is a consistent 90-minute player, but he's certainly got moments of quality in him, and that's what we need. He could have had more than the one assist that he got. I think he certainly should have had one with that great chance for Stephen Humphreys, but Nerfville, I must say, I've been quite impressed with him over the last two games, considering prior to that I wasn't particularly impressed. I was happy that Brad Halliday has come back into the side, but now we've brought in Harrison Ashby as well. There's some real competition in that wing-back position. In terms of my two central midfielders, firstly I would go with the captain, Max Power. Now I actually thought his individual performance against Cardiff was really poor. I think it happened 4, 5, maybe even 6 times where he just gave the ball away so cheaply, but Power's not normally like that. Normally he is quite composed in possession. I think whenever you're going away to certainly your biggest rivals in the league, obviously Leeds are not in our league, so then your biggest rivals are obviously Huddersfield Town, it would be very strange to drop your captain, especially when we've not really got many options in there. I certainly think we need to bring in another body to play in central midfield. Partnering him in there, I would go with Jensen Metcalf. I thought first half against Cardiff he was a little bit lost at times. It looked like we need an extra man in that midfield, and the same can be said about Max Power, but second half again he absolutely ran the show. He was absolutely outstanding, scores a brilliant goal. I thought his goal that he scored against Port Vale was very good and going to take a lot to beat, but that one was even better. Absolutely outstanding strike. Great to see him not only taking his opportunity in the side, but now scoring goals as well. That was my concern with us selling Alex Patterson. Do we have enough goals from midfield? Jensen Metcalf certainly provided that at the moment. And completing at my midfield four then, at left wing back, I would go with Ibu Toure. Now, my understanding is that Tyreek Wright is set to miss the next 4 weeks or so with injury, so Ibu Toure, I think, then is your next best option. I'm not a fan of Sibley at wing back. I think you certainly need to either be defensively very strong, which Ibu Toure is, or have a bit of pace about you going forward, and Sibley doesn't doesn't have that. He's not a wing back for me. He's certainly best position is going to be in that inside 10 position. But Toure, being one of our most consistent players so far this campaign, this is exactly the sort of game where you need your experienced players like your Tilts, your Penningtons, your Powers, your Toures to get you through it. And Toure, for me, definitely should keep his place in the side. But again, if we always need a goal, you drop him into the back three, you bring on someone slightly more attacking, like an Ashby, for example. You can put Nerfel on that side. We've certainly got a lot of options. Now, in terms of my front three then, as my right attacking midfielder, I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I think it's been quite a while now since we've seen Sars really play at that level that we know he can play at. I thought again against Cardiff was quite poor, sloppy in possession, not really creating much. Arguably should have had a penalty near the end of the first half, but for me personally, I think Sars needs to up his game. But he's a big moments player, and in a big game like this, I would like to see Sars get an opportunity. But after an hour, if he's not performing, then Alexander needs to be able to just bring him off. How he got 90 minutes again against Cardiff, I didn't really understand, because I thought he was really poor in that one. And with the quality we've got on the bench in the likes of Joe White, for example, then I would like to see Sars get that start. But if he's not performing, then I would also like to see a change be made. As my left attacking midfielder, I would go with Bobby Pointon. This is exactly the type of game where you do start Pointon, who again wasn't amazing against Cardiff, wasn't poor by any means, but just kind of going through the motions a little bit at times. But in a Yorkshire derby like this, a West Yorkshire derby in particular, we all saw what he did in the reverse fixture. Certainly got a brace, arguably got a hat-trick in that one, so I would like to see Pointon get another start. And as my striker then, I would go with Stephen Humphreys. Again, my understanding is that Will Swan is set to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. We know that he had a pretty tight hamstring against Blackpool, and it seemed like we just brought him off in time before that caused any real problems. But it does certainly seem like he's had to come off at half-time against Cardiff with an injury. So Humphreys is then your only other real available striker. You're not going to start Callum Kavanagh in a game like this. Ethan Wheatley, who obviously officially hasn't signed but is still injured, and who knows who the other striker could be. Could it be Jimmy J. Morgan potentially? Could it be Macaulay Langstaff, who's rumoured to be going to Salford on 10 grand a week? There's a lot of rumours flying around at the moment, but Humphreys is our only other real option, so I guess he has to start, and hopefully he can score a hat-trick. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Harrison Ashby, Joe Wright, Tommy Lee, Joe White, Louis Sibley, and also Callum Kavanagh. The players currently unavailable are Tyreek Wright, Nick Powell, and Will Swan. So the players who miss out then through selection would be Neil Byrne, Kieran Kelly, and George Lapsley. We are absolutely crying out for a striker. Hopefully by the time the game comes around, we've brought somebody else in, but I really cannot see it. By Alexander's comments, it doesn't sound like we're close with any incomings or outgoings as well, so a little bit concerned from that point of view. But the form and my team selection, it's all completely irrelevant when we're going into a game like this. It all means absolutely nothing. It's two West Yorkshire sides that are going to absolutely battle it out. Obviously it's nowhere near a sellout. Bradford City, sold out their allocation before it even went on sale, really, didn't we? And I think around 2,500 Bradford fans. There's probably going to be 10,000 empty seats in the Huddersfield end, so hopefully we can go there, put on a similar performance that we did in the reverse fixture, and give Liam Manning a very warm welcome back to League One football. Thank you all very much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 180 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your score prediction for this match. What would your starting 11 be as well? Obviously 3 points in a fixture like this is the most important thing, but if we don't get anything out of it, it has to be 90 minutes of relentless pressing and just giving your absolute all for the badge. There is no way that any player can come off that pitch thinking, I maybe could have done a bit more out of that game. That is all that we ask as supporters. You give it absolutely everything. This means everything to the fans. And I'm sure all these football players know when your team, the team that they support, when they play in the big derbies, you just want to see your players show a bit of fight, and that's what we want to see in this one. Let's go there, get the 3 points, and get back to Bradford with a nice little 3 points in the bag. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Thank you all for watching though. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.